It's time that we get real with silver, and we're going to go back to basics in this video and discuss the unmistakable and undeniable truths about this metal, and I'm going to tell you what I believe about it as well. Let's talk about it as we explore. There's no mistaking that silver, though it has been consistent, the silver market has been anything but. In fact, there's been a notable shift in how silver is viewed and its purposes. And I think in many ways that is what makes silver all the more amazing. We're going to discuss that, and we're going to discuss the actual truth about silver throughout as it has been perceived throughout history, and the unchanging aspects of it, the consistency of silver. Because yes, in spite of the market, and in spite of the price moving around, especially compared to gold, silver is a very consistent metal in many different ways. And I'm also going to be talking about and reminding folks what my views on silver have been. And here's a little spoiler alert, they've been consistent. So we're going to get into that. Before I get there, I want to remind you that if you are in the market to purchase, and only if you're in the market to purchase, to take a look at where you can find the best deal and get the best service, no matter where that may be. Now, I am sponsored by Summit Metals, so I want to put their name out there just to consider as an option to buy precious metals. They have proven themselves with great service and also with very competitive pricing. Many times they will be the price leader on certain products out there, depending on what you're looking for. So I hope you will check out Summit Metals. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on with silver and what has been going on with silver for literally thousands of years. And before we get to talk about the history of silver, let's talk a little bit about what has not changed. It is a chemical element with the symbol Ag, which is derived from the Latin argentum, and its atomic number is 47. It is essentially a transition metal on the periodic table. And what's amazing about silver and has contributed to its use throughout history is the fact that it is highly ductile and malleable. It can be drawn out into wires and shaped into thin sheets and reformed in many different ways, such as you see here. They can be poured in bars, cast. This is a poured bar that had a completely different form before in the form of pure silver rounds, and I melted it down into this chunky poured bar here. That's about 9 ounces. It can be struck with any kind of imprint of anything, even the channel name, such as this salivate metal channel round. That can be poured, cast, bars, coins, round, you name it. And yes, it can even be used, as has been for thousands of years, as money. Such as in this case, this is a last year of issue of the Walking Liberty $50. A beautiful coin indeed, one of my most favorite designs, and it has inspired the American Silver Eagle's obverse design, which you see right here. The American Silver Eagle is the most popular bullion coin on the planet. No other coin comes close. Now, there is that aspect of the physical properties of it, a very, very ductile, and it has a lustrous, shiny white metal, which means it is the most reflective on the periodic table. And obviously it can tarnish. We've seen that. It's mostly due to being exposed to sulfur compounds in the air, which forms the toning that we so either hate or love, depending, and there's slight toning on this, and you see it in other pieces as well too. It comes in various different forms of toning. But pure silver indeed is a metal that if it's taken care of, if it's stored in a cool, dry place, it will remain and maintain its properties. Other than the tarnishing, it does not change. It is found in the Earth's crust in pure native form, as well as in minerals such as argentite and chlorogyrite. However, it is unlikely that you're going to find nuggets just hanging out there above ground. Most of it is mined deep in the ground, and most of it, about 75% of it, is mined as a byproduct of other metals, such as copper, gold, lead, and zinc. Now, silver is mined, a lot of it is mined every year. It is plentiful. However, there are deficits in terms of its use in industry. That is something that is a growing trend we're seeing over the last few years. And even the most conservative of analysts out there believe that the supply and demand fundamentals are narrowing at the least. But we know that its use has been used for thousands of years in coinage, jewelry, and silverware. It has over 10,000 uses, silver does. So that has complicated the silver market. There's no question about that. It has medicinal properties, mostly antibacterial. It's very, very valuable for medical applications. You've probably have heard back in the day, in order to prevent milk from spoiling or to lengthen the shelf life of milk, you would drop a silver quarter or dime inside of a quarter milk to help. It's very good. We've seen silver used in medicinal purposes, being interwoven in fabrics to prevent spoilage or prevent bacteria from growing. So it has a lot of great properties in that realm as well. And we know that they have been used for a long time in photography, for development of photography. Now it's a key material in solar energy. Solar energy, photovoltaics, has essentially replaced photography as the largest area of use for silver in industry. And we know also, and this is going to be somewhat controversial for some out there who are not a big fan of silver, yes, gasp, it is a precious metal alongside gold, platinum, and palladium, and other even more rare precious metals. But it is the most abundant of the precious metals out there. And this is why people either love it or hate it. And part of the reason why the market is really kind of whipsawed and kind of sporadic. The market is sporadic. But one thing is for sure, silver indeed will preserve your wealth. But for each person, it may be a little bit different. There are ways that you can lose big time on silver. I've discussed this many times on this channel, where if you buy a whole bunch of it at one time at the high, and you not only are you catching it and buying it at the top of the market, but you also are losing immediately when you pay the premiums for silver. A premium, which, by the way, will obviously disappear when you go to sell it back to a coin shop or a bullion dealer. That is just a fact. So in order to really benefit from it, you really should dollar cost average and spread out your buying and utilize that approach and enhance it even a way so that you can buy a little bit more when the price dips and a little bit less or not at all if the price spikes dramatically. There is a normalization of the market, and if you look at a price chart over the last 100 plus years, silver indeed is shown itself to be a metal that will preserve your wealth, protect against inflation, against market volatility. And that is really, I believe, is a fact. That is one of the things I believe and have been consistent about. And let's talk about consistency, because silver is a very consistent metal in terms of its physical properties and in terms of what it can do for us throughout history. What it has been done, it has been the metal, the monetary metal of the ages. It is only until recently, since the mid to late 1960s, since it has stopped being used as a monetary metal in our coins throughout the world. Otherwise, for most of history, most of civilized history, it has been. It's really only recent history. This is a very small amount of time since that has stopped being used. Just over 50 years. That's not, in the grand scheme of history, it's a very short amount of time. So it is still a monetary metal, I believe. And it's a monetary metal that, though it may not be trading as active money, it has all of those properties. And that's immutable as a divisibility, all the aspects of money other than actually circulating for transactions. Although many states in the United States certainly are recognizing silver as money again, or at least they're taking the steps towards that. So what I believe about silver is consistent. And I want to address something where I'm getting some comments from time to time, mostly from people that I've never seen comment on the channel before, say that, well, you're sporadic. One day silver's doing great, the next day silver's doing awful. You're back and forth. And which is it? Well, the fact is I've been extremely consistent in my views about silver, and to the point where I'm willing to be wrong in terms of my price predictions, and I hold true to them usually throughout the year until such a time where it's met, where the prediction comes true, then I'll adjust accordingly. But you can change opinions, but largely I believe in silver, as I have mentioned from the facts that I just gave you. I believe it is a stable store of wealth over the long course of time. It's a savings vehicle outside of the system. I look at it as sort of an insurance policy against the madness that we find ourselves in the economy and the market, which, by the way, is not consistent. And so I believe my views have remained consistent. And if people are judging me based off of a title of a video, well, they're not watching the video, because I usually say and report on what happens in the markets. So if silver goes down or goes up, I'm going to report on it. The truth has no agenda. And I want to try to bring the truth as I see it as much as I can. Yes, this channel does have an agenda. I am trying to grow. I'm trying to attract more viewers. But at the same time, I can still be true to myself while trying to reach my goals on the channel. I post a lot of content, and I discuss a lot of different topics with regards to silver. And that includes what others think about the metal in terms of their price predictions, in terms of what the news is telling us, in terms of what perceptions are. I will talk about a lot of it. I have more videos on this channel than anybody else by a long shot. So I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff, but I also try my best to be very consistent. Most people that watch this channel understand that, especially if they've been watching for any length of time. But there are going to be some who pop in the comments who are either new or don't really watch the videos. They see the titles. I see a couple of the titles, and the titles themselves, there's only so much you can put in a title. And so, I can't put caveats in a title. And that's why you watch the video, to see what I'm saying and discuss the exceptions and where it is. But my view about silver really has not changed. Over the long, I believe in it. I still buy it. I still believe it's something that is going to help us through the course of time as a way to protect ourselves against the economic, the geopolitical, and others areas where there's a lot of discourse. There's a lot of problems in the world today, especially with our monetary system. One thing is the only thing that's been more consistent has been more consistent on silver in terms of price is the dollar. One thing about the dollar is I believe it is money, but I believe it is money that is losing value. As this Federal Reserve note here indicates, it is a debt instrument, and it is dropping in value consistently year after year of 2%. That's the Fed's target. That's a consistent thing. That's something we can pretty much bet on. Silver's price is volatile, but in the long run, and the longer you hold it, you will realize not any gains, but protection against a losing dollar. That's why I call the dollar unsound or bad money, and silver good and sound money. And so that is something that I've been very consistent on. So there you have it. So that's what I believe about silver, and I hope you found some information here that maybe you haven't known before about the truths about silver as well. So that being said, I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.